And if you care about the truth, you would say, yeah, go to the headquarters and we'll find out. If you're right, we will apologize. If you're right, then I will eat this hat. I will eat this hat on the show. And I will apologize and say, you know what? She was right all along. And she's the journalist of the century because she exposed this. She forced them to be transparent, and then she got them on the stream. I'd be the first one, honest to God. I think she should do it. And if she's proven wrong, well, then at the minimum, if you're a defender, you could say, well, she got transparency. She fought for the truth when no one else fought as hard. And whether it goes her way or it doesn't go her way, everyone is better off because now we know the answers. We have more information than when we started, and that's good. And it might hurt her pride. It might hurt her ego. And it might discredit her. But you know what? There's a way that she could spin that, and she could say, well, you know what? We pushed, and we got to the bottom of it. But you have to do it. So they tell her, you can come out, and you can go to the studio. We'll do a live, ask anything. You can respond in 24 hours, I think they said. And so Candace goes on her show and she says, name the time, name the place. I'll do it. Let's do it tomorrow. We don't have to plan it. We don't need lawyers. Let's just do it because I care about the truth. So at midnight last night, Turning Point puts out a statement. This is what they say. This is Blake Neff. Blake Neff says, quote, the live stream we announced on the show Wednesday has been set at 4 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. local time on Monday, December 15th. A collection of Charlie's friends will respond to statements made by Candace Owens to set the record straight once and for all prior to the opening of America Fest, which is this is their big conference, which is going to take place like a day later.
Welcome to the Conservative Lion channel. If you are new, in this video, I'm going to be reacting to Nick Fuentes explaining his take on the whole Candace Owens TPUSA drama. Now, Candace Owens and TPUSA have been going back and forth surrounding the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and basically one of their spokesmen, he basically has invited Candace Owens to a in-person debate at their studio in Phoenix, Arizona. Candace Owens said she'll do the debate anytime, anywhere, and she of course said that the date that they wanted to do it doesn't work for her. So now Nick Fuentes is saying that Candace Owens is missing out on a golden opportunity. And in my opinion, I believe that Nick Fuentes is really glazing for TPUSA in this clip that you'll see. So without further ado, let's keep going.
He says, we'll be live streaming from Charlie's Phoenix studio. Our offer from yesterday holds. If Candace wishes to join us in person in Phoenix, she is welcome to do so. She can let us know by the end of the day. Beautiful. Perfect. If I'm Candace Owens, I am jumping on a private jet and I'm there. She's got that kind of money. Her husband's loaded. She makes millions of dollars from her YouTube channel. You know how loaded her family is? Her father-in-law is this loaded commodities trader. He's one of the biggest donors for the Conservative Party in the United Kingdom. And Candace has donors too, like John Mappin, or is it John? I know that John Mappin would pay for her private flight, the Scientologist that introduced her to her husband, George Farmer. John Mappin, the Scientologist who descends from the family that makes the jewels for the British crown. John Mappin, the man that takes credit for introducing her and her husband at Turning Point UK, the organization that he funded, that launched at an event that he hosted. I'm sure that Mappin would love to pay for that flight. He's been writing letters about her, writing Substack posts, and she's been retweeting him. He would pay for the private jet. She could literally take a private jet armed to the teeth with a private security force, and she could arrange that. It's in 10 days. This was her response. She says, quote, kind of weird how you didn't email or call me to ask about times or availability and chose to instead tweet this confirmation out at midnight. Really? Why am I learning about this on X? Why am I learning about this? I love the like Karen tone. She's such a bitch. It's unbelievable. It's not why did you do this? It's why am I learning about this on X? She reminds me of every bitchy mom in my like Midwestern town. Every one of those like snooty, why am I learning about this on X? She says. December 15th does not work in person, and 2 p.m. is also the literal time I do my podcast every day, which you knew. But we will happily cancel the daily podcast and join you guys virtually instead for the live stream on the 15th. If that works on your end, let's lock it in. And I love, this is the Candace Owens MO. It's to find things that are completely arbitrary and then just vaguely insinuate that there's something conspiratorial. So she says, kind of weird how you didn't email or call me to ask about times. What's weird about that? Didn't you say on your show, on your own show, name the time, name the place, we don't need to plan it, we don't need lawyers, just say it? And so they go on Twitter and say, well, this is when we're doing the live stream and you're welcome to join us. And she goes, kind of weird. Not weird. No, it's kind of weird. I'm sorry. What's weird about that? You think they're going to send you an email after you accuse them of killing their boss? And you said yourself, you're not going to go through lawyers. So how exactly did you want it? Did you want it carried by a messenger pigeon? She goes, why am I finding out about this on X? This is really weird. Why didn't you call me? Call you? You're telling them that they killed their boss. You think they're going to say, hey, Candace, hi, hope you're doing well. So we're thinking of doing this live stream defending ourselves from the allegation that we're working with France and Israel to kill our own boss and friend that you're telling millions of people with no evidence. Well, when did you want to do that? What works for, how do you think that's going to go? She goes, why am I learning about it on X? Then she says, you chose to tweet this confirmation out at midnight. Again, okay, so what? When were they supposed to tweet it out? During business hours? You're only supposed to respond to these things during business hours. You know, it's the 21st century. Like, people are up at midnight. We're on social media. You're up at midnight. I mean, what are you talking about? Isn't it weird that they posted it on Twitter and at midnight? No, not really. What, is that part of the French connection too? It's like with the text messages on Discord. El Reeve is pressing her saying, how do you know the text messages are fake? And she goes, they don't have any timestamps. Okay, so? El Reeve said, do you have any evidence they're fake? She goes, no. Okay. Then she goes and says, it doesn't work in person. Okay, why not? Like, genuinely, what excuse do you have? Anyway, we'll get into that in a minute. Suffice to say, she says, I can't make it in person, but let's do a stream. So Blake responds. He says, yesterday we made it clear that we would be scheduling a formal response to the allegations and accusations you have made. We've decided that response will be delivered during a live stream on December 15th. Thank you for your response, letting us know you will not be joining the in-person conversation. We will proceed without you. She replies, it has been decided by the public that the best response for this is for my team to live stream your live stream and provide commentary. Since you already picked our regular podcasting time, we look forward to providing live responses to your once and for all answers. And if we could just back it up for a minute, if you actually watch Blake Neff's statement on Wednesday, he said exactly that. He said, we have to respond to these allegations because they won't let it go. He said, we're going to issue a formal response. We're going to do it live in the studio later in the month. We'll announce it soon. He said, and Candace is welcome to join us. He didn't say, we're going to call her up and have a live debate over Zoom. He said, we are forced to respond to the allegations. We're going to do it here in the studio live later in the month. We're going to pick a time, and she is welcome to join us. That's what he said. And then what she said is, Name the time, name the place. We don't need to plan it. We don't need lawyers. Let's do it tomorrow. Let's do it anytime. They announce on Twitter, we're doing our stream on the 15th. You're welcome to join us. She comes out and says, I can't do that. What about it? Then she changes the deal. She insinuates there's funny business, even though there's nothing funny about that at all. That's what he said. That's what you said. Oh, this is really weird. This is really strange. Why'd you say it at midnight? That's when I'm doing my show. Your show is about this. It's about this. She goes, and anyway, I can't do it in person. That's no good. No excuse given. You know, it'd be one thing. And by the way, I think you kind of owe it to your audience. It'd be one thing if she said, who even knows? Like, I don't know, I'm going to my dad's funeral or something. Like, if there was some excuse, I think we're owed that, but not even an excuse. Oh, that's no good for me. How about Zoom? Changes the deal. And Blake comes out and says, well, you know, that's not really what we said. This is when we're doing it, and you can come. And if you're not going to come, then okay, we'll proceed without you. She comes back and says, well, I'll live stream the live stream. And you go, so what's really the whole point of all this? This is what you wanted. This is transparency. You're so busy that you can't fly out and do it. And by the way, she has been talking about this assassination, milking it every day for 3 months. And it truly is milking it. These like cliffhangers, the clickbait. She's been withholding evidence the whole time. She's withholding lots of things that she says, well, I'm going to wait to put this out. I'm going to wait to tell you everything Charlie told me in my dream. And every week it's, you got to tune in tomorrow. I just got a groundbreaking. Every week it's a groundbreaking discovery, and it never really is. She's been milking this for 3 months to her personal enrichment and self-aggrandizement. She has gotten millions of subscribers and views, probably millions of dollars, at the minimum, hundreds of thousands of dollars in 3 months.
Okay, so I want to stop right there. Nick Fuentes, he does bring up a very pertinent point that Candace Owens has been doing this like nonstop for the past 3 months as far as talking about the Charlie Kirk assassination. However, I don't understand why Nick Fuentes, a person who was actually a nemesis of TPUSA and Charlie Kirk back in the day before Charlie Kirk unfortunately lost his life 3 months ago, yesterday made the 3-month anniversary of Charlie Kirk's assassination, coincidentally. Today is December the 11th. I don't understand why Nick Fuentes is going so hard against somebody who's basically trying to get to the bottom of what actually happened. Even if you don't believe Candace Owens is really solving the case, which she hasn't blown the case wide open or gave the public any... I'm not going to say she hasn't done anything to change the narrative, because she has. Like, the Egyptian planes thing is a real thing. Like, Erica Kirk really has had Egyptian planes following her over the past few years. That's actually verifiable. The whole premise that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk with a 30-06 round, that's a bogus, part of the story in its entirety. I mean, anybody that hunts, anybody that knows rifles, which I don't think Nick Fuentes is a hunter. He's from Chicago, and I just don't get hunter vibes from him. Okay? You see what state I'm from, and I didn't grow up in the city of Atlanta. I grew up in the suburbs. Anybody with half of a brain that knows rifles and ballistics knows that if Charlie Kirk was hit in the neck with a 30-06 round, it would have been an exit wound. His neck was not made of steel. I don't care what they tell us. That whole backdrop behind Charlie Kirk would have been a bloody mess. And yes, I saw the video of him with the blood splatter and all that out of his neck, the artery, his carotid artery. That was a very graphic scene in itself. But imagine if a 30-06 round would have hit him in the neck. And I've talked about this before in some of my other videos. So the fact that Nick Fuentes is in the camp that, oh, Tyler Robinson did it, it had nothing to do with Israel. And I'm not saying it had anything to do with Israel, but it's a lot of arrows that point in that direction. I'm just saying, like, I don't have any proof to indict Israel on this assassination, but to just agree that it was Tyler Robinson, bro, And the fact that you are just so quick to, jump on the bandwagon, let's just pile on Candace Owens, who's actually doing more than anybody regarding this case. She's doing more than anybody, like, period. And I have another video I'm going to be doing real soon about Ian Carroll and some receipts that he's dropped. And the fact that Nick Fuentes is just so one-sided. It just makes no sense that he's this one-sided on a issue that is clear and obvious that it's a lot more to the story than what the media and what the government is telling us.
Her podcast has skyrocketed to the top off of this. And she claims that she is obsessively, that she will not let it go. She is obsessed with getting to the bottom of this conspiracy because she sees herself as in the middle of a spiritual, cosmic, intercontinental political battle that involves the French government, the Israeli government, the U.S. government. Charlie is communing with her in dreams. She's having visions about it. So she's at the center of a global satanic conspiracy. It's entered into the spiritual realm. She has been appointed or anointed to do this because she was Charlie's friend, and she's not like all these people that betrayed him. She's an angel. Everyone else is two-faced. She is perfect. So she's the only one that's going to do this. And that's why she's hell-bent on doing this show and this song and dance every day to get the truth, to get to the bottom of it for her friend. Okay. Well, she's been alleging that Turning Point killed their own boss, that Erica might have killed her own husband, and she's now the head of Turning Point, and that his closest friends killed him. She says Charlie told her that in a dream. Apparently, she has evidence of this. She says, I'm going to name names. She says, don't play with me. I'm going to name names. I'm going to air you out. They say, all right already. Come to the studio. We'll explain it in person. Ask anything. She goes, oh, I'm busy that day. What could you possibly be busy with?
She could be busy with her 4 kids and her husband. But anyway, Nick Fuentes just claimed that Candace Owens accused Erica Kirk of masterminding Charlie Kirk's assassination. That's totally not true. Candace Owens has never made an accusation against Erica Kirk like that. That's not true.
If everything you're saying is true, what could possibly be more important? Because in your own words, this is about your friendship with Charlie. This is about the relationship between France and the United States. They're making an attempt on your life, allegedly. You're being told messages in dreams. God and the dead are communicating to you in visions and in dreams to do this. What could be more important? Honestly. And she says, well, I'm too busy to go in person, but I'm going to live stream it. So you're not busy on the actual day because you're going to live stream their live stream. You're going to live stream the live stream that you can't attend in person. So you're not that busy. So what is it that you have going on in the morning? It's like a 3-hour flight from Nashville to Phoenix. It's not a long flight. And what time are they doing it locally? They're doing it 2 p.m. local time. So you can't catch a flight at 11 a.m. on that morning and then fly back? It doesn't even make any sense. You can do your own stream in your own house. So you got something going on in the morning or the afternoon. Like you could squeeze in a stream about the stream, but you can't make a quick trip over there on a private jet. She said, oh, I can't make it. So what could be more important? Then people say, well, maybe she's worried about her life. She's worried about being killed. Okay, I understand that. I was worried that Tucker Carlson might kill me when I did his show, but I went. You sort of have to go. If you're going to be a martyr, that's part of it. You have to be courageous. You have to be brave. You're not courageous and brave for going and beating your chest and doing all these things. And then you get the opportunity that you have to act on and you say, oh, I'm afraid. No, you have to step up and face the music. I'll add, maybe you don't find that convincing. If she's so afraid for her life, why was she at Tucker Carlson's Christmas party in Nashville last night? Why was she at Dollywood on Thanksgiving, the theme park? So allegedly, the French government and the Israeli intelligence have put a hit out on you. They've paid millions of dollars to kill you, but you're walking around a theme park in your town. You're walking around, for those that don't know, what is it, Dollywood, Dollyland? It's like Dolly Parton's Disney World. You're walking around Disney World? You're walking around an amusement park in your hometown on the holiday weekend when allegedly everyone's trying to kill you? Then you go to a Christmas party with Tucker Carlson in the same city attended by hundreds of people, and people know you're going to be there with Tucker and all the based people in one room, but you can't go to Turning Point, where everybody knows you're going to be, and if anything happened to you, God forbid, they would immediately blame Turning Point. It doesn't even make any sense.
All right, just real quick, the guy you see on your screen, that's a guy named Haim Braverman. He was the guy who actually did threaten Candace Owens' life. I apologize for the poor image quality. That's the only one I could find, but obviously you see the little kufi hat on his head, or whatever the little hat that Muslims wear. He clearly has a Muslim Arabic name, Haim. You can go look it up on Google, Haim Braverman, Braverman. He is a New Jersey man who was actually convicted of making death threats against Candace Owens in real life. So Candace Owens, the whole French government wanting to get at her and take her out, and all the assassination plots. I don't have any evidence to confirm or deny whether or not that's true, but after what happened to Charlie Kirk and all these, politicians that have been shot, right? Like Steve Scalise, like you've literally had politicians get shot. You had 2 Minnesota lawmakers get murdered earlier this year, Democrats. So it is a real thing. Like, assassinations happen all the time around the world for people that may have a difference in opinion, or they're only opposing political ideology of the people that attack them. Look at what they were doing to Elon Musk's Tesla dealerships with the whole Doge thing. Now, Dollywood, to correct Nick Fuentes, is not in Candace Owens' hometown of Nashville. And Candace Owens is originally from Connecticut, but she lives in Nashville, of course, with her family. Dollywood is in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, which is near Knoxville, which is about 3.5 hours east of Nashville. So he was wrong on his geography there, which is not a big deal. And as far as her being out and her life being threatened, I'm pretty sure she has security. And, she's got kids, so I just don't think she's going to keep her kids cooped up in the house all day. I'll try to find some more images of that Haim Braverman guy, but he literally is I don't know if he's in prison right now, but he was convicted. You can look that up.
So she says, I'm going to live stream the live stream, and I'm going to fact check it in real time. Why? I think we all know why. She's totally full of shit. She doesn't care about the truth. If she did, she would go, no matter the cost. If she were really courageous and a truth teller, she would bootstrap it and she would say, wish me luck. She would kiss her husband when she walks out the door and say, it might not be coming back. And she would go and just fully send it and do it. Because if this is really, as she says, of cosmic, spiritual, geopolitical significance, you have to. And it's being offered up on a silver platter. You just have to. After talking all this shit, driving everybody against each other for the past 3 months, you got to do it. So clearly, she doesn't believe what she's saying as far as the significance of all of this. Secondly, I don't think she believes what she's saying about Turning Point. Why does she not want to go in person? Because if she goes in person, she might get caught on the back foot. She might find out that her whole theory was wrong and that all of her facts are wrong, and she might not be able to explain herself. If she's at home, she's not under pressure. What's more, she's got her producer in her ear, like she did when I was on her show, like she does on all her shows. What's the producer's name? Skylar? She's going to have Skylar in her ear, so when she mispronounces something or she gets something wrong, she's going to say, Skylar, what was that? And Skylar can be on AI, Skylar can be on Twitter, and he can help her out. She can have air support. That's what this is about. And so she knows, first of all, it's obviously she does not mean what she says. It is not that important to her. And she does not have the courage of her convictions. She knows she's going to melt at turning point. She needs backup. So then she's going to engage in yet another lie. And then she's going to gaslight the world and say, oh, I'm not a coward. It's not that I don't have the courage of my convictions. It's they are being weird. They're being weird. I'm not backing down. They said, we're going to do a stream. You said, name the time and place. They did. Now you're saying you can't go in person, but you can live stream it. And we all know why that is. But then she'll turn around and say, oh, I'm not a coward. They're just being weird. They announced it at midnight, so that's why I can't go. You can't go because they announced it at midnight? You can't go because you're seeing this on Twitter and not in your inbox? I mean, what are you even talking about?
I personally would not go to Phoenix, Arizona if I was Candace Owens without my team, especially for security reasons. Her husband, he's kind of a low-key guy. You never see him. You never hear from him. I don't particularly like that about him, but that's just what it is. That's the type of guy he is. I personally, if I was Candace Owens' husband, she wouldn't be doing what she's doing. No way. She really don't even have to do this. Candace Owens is really set for life. Like Nick Fuentes alluded to earlier, her husband comes from big money. His father is filthy rich, like stanky rich, got plenty of British pounds. Like they never have to work for the rest of their lives. They can literally just live off that family wealth that George Farmer has. And you can never say anything about Candace Owens because the biggest shield she has to hide behind is that she was indeed Charlie Kirk's friend. She knew that man in real life. She was there at the beginning of TPUSA. They go way back. So that's the number one thing that Candace Owens can use to, justify what she's doing is the fact that she really was Charlie's friend. And for people that go against Candace Owens, such as Nick Fuentes, and go against, what she's doing, and the official narrative is supposed to be that Tyler Robinson's the killer, it makes the people that go against her look real sus. And that's not even a believable narrative. If it was a believable narrative and it was obvious that Tyler Robinson was the killer, then Candace Owens would look like an idiot. But that's not the case.
And so this is where it's like, if you're still on this train, I honestly have no respect for you. If you're still on board after this, I don't know how anybody can buy in. And like I said, I'm not saying this for rhetorical effect. I would actually love to see her talk to Turning Point because there's not a losing scenario there. If she goes to Turning Point, we're either going to find out that she was right all along. She's going to bring the receipts. She's going to name the names. She's going to put the screws in these people, and she is going to blow the lid on everything. And you know what? If she's right, we want to know. If she's right, I want to know that, and I want to see it. I want to see it proved. And if she's right, I will issue a public apology on video and writing. I will say, you know what? I doubted you. I didn't get it. You were right all along, blah, blah. Honest to God. And if she's wrong, then we'll know that too. We'll know that whatever the errors she made are, we will know what they are. And maybe it'll bring us closer to a bigger truth about what happened to Charlie Kirk, whether it was Tyler Robinson or some other thing went on, or maybe Turning Point wasn't in on it. We'll know more. And I think everybody wants to see it. We want to see, she's been building the energy for 3 months. This is supposed to be the climactic, like jury trial, courtroom drama moment. And she goes, I can't go. Well, you know what? I can't take you seriously then. This is one of those moments, you just got to do it. Put up or shut up. You talk all this shit. She's on her show every day, bobbing her head, all cocky. I'm going to name names, and you better not mess with me because I got the receipts, and I'm going to name the names. That doesn't fit with my timeline. And she's doing every day. She's doing this bullshit. Finally, they say, all right, you know what? Fine. Come to Turning Point. Let's just do a fucking live stream then. Ask us anything. She goes, oh, I can't do it that day. You know what? Then fuck you. Then you're just a malicious operative. That is pure malice. There's just no excuse for that. And I'm hearing excuses. People say it's the holidays. She's got kids. She could get assassinated. None of that adds up. That's all bullshit. And everybody knows that. It's all a load of fucking bullshit. Everybody knows that if Ben Shapiro called me up and said, let's debate, I would be on the next flight to debate Ben Shapiro. And it's not even comparable because I don't do a show every single day, motherfucking Ben Shapiro, for 3 months. I have a feud with him. But you know, if Trump asked me to be on a stream, if Vance put me on a stream, if Shapiro, you know, even if I didn't have complete confidence, I would be nervous, but I would send it. I'd say, I did it with Tucker. Tucker's people hit me up. They said, come and do the show. I was very nervous. I thought he might kill me. But I said, I can't. I literally told myself, I can't back down. When I got the text, I was filled with apprehension and fear in the moment. But I said, I can't back down now. I will either get destroyed or it'll be okay or it'll be a triumph. I said, but I can't back down. That would be far worse. So I said, yeah, fuck it. Let's do it. They said, we'll book your travel. I don't normally let people book my travel for security, but I said, if that's what you do, that's what you do. Fine. And I let him book all my stuff. And I went, and I was nervous about it, and I was uneasy the entire time, but I went and I steeled myself and did it. And that's what you have to do because I actually care. If I go and I'm attacking Tucker and I'm saying, you know what, man, bring me on the show then. Bring me on the show. You want a piece of me? Let's do it. When he said, let's do a show, I said, name the time, name the place. They gave me dates. I picked one. We went out there. We did it. I think they hit me up on October 5th, and I came out on October 29th. So I had a little bit more notice, but nevertheless, I said, fuck it. I'll go out there and I'll do it. Same thing with Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan hit me up the other day on Thanksgiving or around Thanksgiving. Come and do the show. I said, how's next Monday? So I saw that. It's just like, how do people buy into this now? I'm really disappointed in that. I mean, I can't be too disappointed because it's not a surprise, but it's like the audacity shocks even me. To drive the country apart like this, drive people to insanity over this, then you're given the opportunity to finally prove everybody wrong. And this is what she says on the show. She says, I have receipts. I'm going to name names. She's saying Tyler Boyer's a child molester. And look, I've talked to Tyler Boyer. And I don't know him really well. I wouldn't consider him a friend. I don't think he's molesting guys at Turning Point. And if you're going to claim that, you need extraordinary evidence, actually. You're going to need extraordinary evidence to prove that. And she says, I've got the receipts. She says Tyler Boyer is messing with young guys at Turning Point events. You don't go and they invite you to explain that. You don't go and face him? Well, what about the kids then? So, you know, who could take that seriously? That's just like, that is malicious and harmful. To go and say a wife killed her husband, to go and say a guy is sexually abusive, to go and say Charlie was betrayed by every single one of his friends, and to tell everybody, I have the proof and I'm going to name names. They tell you, okay, bring it on. And you go, oh, I can't make it that day. Oh, please, Candace. And I said this earlier this year. I have Candace Owens fatigue. It's a species of black fatigue. You know, people have black fatigue. I have Candace Owens fatigue. Loudmouth fucking idiot. Total loudmouth fucking black female narcissist retarded idiot is what she is. And a fucking coward at that, given this. I've so had enough. So, I mean, I watched that show. I don't know how she's going to face, but you know what? The audience is going to enable that. Audience reflexively makes excuses for that. But I've had it. I mean, I just can't stand it anymore. I have absolute Candace Owens fatigue. I think the country is so sick and tired of her. It's not even smart. It's just dumb.
I was standing from probably the third row in the bottom, I saw I heard the shot ring out. I looked to my left, and then I looked over to my right. I saw him slump over in his chair forward. He slumped over. He had blood coming from the left side of his neck down his shirt, and he slumped over and he was carried off. Get off me! Get off me!
All right, so that's all we're going to talk about for this Nick Fuentes reaction today. That last clip I just showed you was a real video clip of a TPUSA member out there in Utah that witnessed the assassination of Charlie Kirk in real time. He was there. And as you can see, there was a gentleman that came and basically shut him up. It's just too many holes in the official narrative. And the way that Nick Fuentes is going about this is just, is weak. And then those personal attacks against Candace Owens. Oh, I got Candace Owens fatigue. You know, she's loud. She's a, low IQ. And I personally think that Nick Fuentes is still angry about the Candace Owens, interview that she had with him earlier this year. It was a biased interview. I'll give him that. It was kind of a, ambush style, situation. I don't know why it was that way. She seemed to be very, very triggered by Nick Fuentes' views on race and interracial relationships because Candace Owens is married to a white man. But that's another conversation for another video. I'll talk about that some other time. But Nick Fuentes doesn't like Candace Owens. In my opinion, all these people, including Nick Fuentes, saying that Candace Owens is dividing the country. That's the biggest load of, garbage I've ever heard. If Candace Owens can single-handedly divide our country, then we don't have a country. America's a very weak place if Candace Owens can divide our country. What's dividing our country, Mr. Fuentes, is the lack of leadership from the GOP that we were supposed to get when Donald Trump got reelected last fall. All right. We can talk about the failures of the Trump administration this time around. Like I said, that's another conversation for another video, but it's far greater forces at work that are dividing the country, Mr. Fuentes, not Candace Owens. That's totally garbage. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Is Nick Fuentes correct in his assertion of this whole situation? Is Candace Owens correct? Like I said, I don't believe that Candace Owens is going to blow this case wide open by herself, but she's on the right side. She's not just going along with the official narrative like everybody else on the other side, like Nick Fuentes, which is very surprising considering Nick Fuentes' history with Charlie Kirk and TPUSA. Like, has Nick got the talk? Has Nick got a few shekels, as he likes to call them? Because he's did an interview with Tucker Carlson. He did an interview with Steven Crowder. He just recently did an interview with Piers Morgan. 3 people that would have never touched him. I think Steven Crowder would have did it. Steven Crowder a little bit different. But Piers Morgan and Tucker Carlson are 2 of the biggest names in media. Like, period. So, a lot of people think Nick Fuentes has sold out. I don't have any proof that he has, but I just find his stance on this situation to be the wrong one. I'll catch up. Peace.